Summary of the life and career of Vincent van Gogh, the lonely painter under a starry sky. Chapter 1, Under the Sky of Zundert, 1853–1869. Vincent Willem van Gogh was born on March 30, 1853, in Zundert, a small town amid wheat fields in North Brabant, Netherlands. The eldest son of Pastor Theodorus van Gogh and Anna Carbentus, a lover of landscape painting, he bore the name of a stillborn brother, a shadow haunting his childhood. With 5 siblings, Anna, Theo, Elizabeth, Wilhelmine, and Cornelis, Vincent grew up in a home resonant with prayers, where his father taught humility and his mother sowed the seeds of art. Theo, for years his junior, became his confidant and lifelong support. Young Vincent was quiet, fond of wandering through meadows, gazing at crimson sunsets. Farmers toiling in the fields, muddy village paths in winter, etched themselves into his mind, later reviving in his paintings. He sketched trees and birds but shunned peers, lost in his own world. His sensitivity made fitting in hard, like a stray bird on native soil. In 1860, Vincent attended the village school, but his education was patchy. In 1864, he entered boarding schools in Zevenbergen and Tilburg, where he began drawing and studying languages. Yet, rigid schooling stifled his free spirit. At 15, in 1868, he quit school and returned to Zundert, his stubbornness foreshadowing a life off the beaten path. His family hoped he'd become a pastor like his father or choose a steady trade. Evenings by the hearth, with church bells ringing, steeped him in Protestant values of sacrifice. But in the teenager's eyes flickered a spark of art, awaiting its blaze. Vincent often sat alone, sketching oaks under gray skies. He found beauty in blades of grass, rays of light, simple things others overlooked. Beneath Zundert's roof, the seed of genius quietly sprouted, poised to bloom amid life's storms. Chapter 2, Wandering Paths, 1869–1880. In 1869, at 16, Vincent entered adulthood at Goupil & C., an art dealership in The Hague, through his uncle's introduction. Gifted, he shone, discerning the value of Rembrandt and Millet's works with striking insight. In 1873, he moved to the London branch, strolling through foggy streets, captivated by Dickens and Eliot, his soul brimming with dreams. But London sowed sorrow. Vincent loved Eugenie Lawyer, his landlady's daughter, and was rejected. Heartbreak sank him into gloom, alienating colleagues and loathing art dealing, a betrayal of beauty, he felt. In 1875, he went to Paris, immersing himself in the Bible, neglecting work. In 1876, Goupil fired him. His first long letters to Theo began, brimming with struggles over life's meaning. Vincent returned to England, teaching unpaid at schools in Ramsgate and Isleworth, living simply, writing of rain-soaked paths and silent churches. In 1877, he worked at a Dordrecht bookstore, feeling empty. He studied theology in Amsterdam, dreaming of ministry like his father, but failed the entrance exam for lack of schooling. Religion was his sole light in the dark. In 1879, Vincent went to Borinage, Belgium's impoverished coal region, as a missionary. He lived like the miners, sleeping on straw, sharing bread, sketching them in charcoal. Their weathered faces, calloused hands, glowing furnaces filled his first drawings, steeped in compassion. His zeal led the church to dismiss him. Theo, now at Goupil in Paris, began sending money, a lifeline that sustained Vincent for life. Borinage was a turning point. Vincent realized art was his true calling. He wrote to Theo, gratitude mixed with guilt for relying on him. Under Borinage's oil lamps, his first sketches emerged, rough, yet pulsing with the soul of an awakening artist. Chapter 3, First Brushstrokes, 1880–1885. In 1880, at 27, Vincent chose to be an artist, defying doubt. With Theo's monthly funds, he studied Charles Bardew's manuals, drawing tirelessly, peasants, old boots, his strokes bold, emotional. In Brussels, he tried the Royal Academy of Fine Arts but left, rejecting rigid teaching, seeking his own path. In 1881, Vincent returned to Eton, living with his parents. He loved his widowed cousin Kiva Stricker, but she refused, never. Heartbroken, he poured himself into drawing, as if each stroke answered fate. He moved to The Hague, living with Sien Hornick, a prostitute. Vincent sought to redeem her, caring for her and her daughter, painting their raw humanity, though his family fiercely objected. In 1883, pressure forced Vincent to part with Sien. Theo's money enabled him to move to Drenthe, painting grey moors in solitude, braving rain and wind. Late that year, he settled in Nuenen with his mother and siblings. He produced over 200 works of peasants, weavers, and labor, like the sower. His first masterpiece, The Potato Eaters, 1885, depicted a peasant family under dim lamplight, its earthy tones and gaunt faces revealing deep empathy. Vincent wrote to Theo, wanting the painting true as soil. Inspired by Millet, he captured labor's raw reality. But Nuenen was turbulent, his father died in 1885, and villagers suspected him of an illicit affair. He left, carrying rough canvases that held an artist's seeking heart. These years, sustained by Theo's funds, Vincent battled poverty and prejudice but never stopped painting. Each stroke was a vow that art was how he understood and loved the world. From shabby rooms, he sowed seeds for an eternal legacy. Chapter 4, Paris, Colors Ablaze, 1886–1888. In March 1886, Vincent arrived in Paris, joining Theo in Montmartre, Europe's art heart. The vibrant city unveiled new horizons. He met Gauguin, Toulouse-Lautrec, Bernard, and marveled at Monet and Renoir's works. Japanese ukiyo-e prints captivated him. Collecting hundreds, he studied their bright colors, flat lines, bold compositions, shaping his later art. With Theo's funds, Vincent trained at Fernand Cormon's studio but soon broke free of rules. He painted over 200 works, self-portraits, Montmartre scenes, early sunflowers. Pieces like Café Terrace at Night and the Trinquetail Bridge glowed with vivid hues, shimmering light, unlike Nuenen's earth tones. He tried Seurat's pointillism, transforming it into swirling, soulful strokes. Paris pulsed with life yet choked him. Vincent drank absinthe, smoked heavily, worked to exhaustion. He mingled at cafés, debating art, but felt adrift. His bond with Theo strained under his erratic temper, though he cherished his brother's financial aid. In 1887, he displayed works at Café du Tambourin, none sold. Influenced by Impressionism and Neo-Impressionism, Vincent forged a unique style, wielding color to bare his soul. Ukiyo-e taught him to frame space like poetry. He wrote to Theo, calling color the language of the heart. Paris was a crucible, forging his talent, but draining his health. In February 1888, Vincent left for Arles, chasing dreams of light and Japanese hues. His Paris letters to Theo were vivid diaries, recounting the joy of painting flowers in sunlight, the loneliness amid crowds. Paris awakened his genius but scorched his mind. Chapter 5, Arles, Flame and Shadow, 1888–1889. On February 20, 1888, Vincent reached Arles, entranced by Provence's golden sun and meadows. With Theo's money, he rented the yellow house, turning it into a studio, working feverishly. In 15 months, he painted over 200 works, Café Terrace at Night, Wheatfield, the Sunflowers series. He made 7 sunflowers from August 1888 to January 1889, their blazing yellows to adorn Paul Gauguin's room, symbols of friendship and hope. Vincent dreamed of an artist's commune, inviting Gauguin. Gauguin arrived on October 23, 1888. They painted together, debated fiercely, but clashed, Vincent emotional, Gauguin rational. On December 23, after a quarrel, Vincent plunged into crisis. He cut part of his left ear, wrapped it in paper, and gave it to a woman at a brothel, an event shrouded in debate. Gauguin left, Vincent was hospitalized in Arles. Arles townsfolk branded him mad, demanding he leave the yellow house. Though his mind unraveled, he painted relentlessly, self-portrait with bandaged ear, olive trees, as if art were salvation. He wrote to Theo, gratitude and guilt mingling for his brother's support, describing pain and faith in color. Vincent blended ukiyo-e and Impressionism into a singular post-impressionist style. The Sunflowers series was a hymn to life, though he sank in darkness. Arles was his artistic peak, where his soul blazed and shattered. Breakdowns intertwined with torrents of creation, a flame burning to ash. His Arles letters to Theo brimmed with fervor and despair. He wrote of yellow like the sun, meadows like anthems. Despite anguish, he found beauty in a flower, a red-tiled roof, sunlight. Arles was where he lived fully, though it cost his sanity. Chapter 6, Saint Remy, Arles, and a Tragic End, 1889–1890. In May 1889, Vincent entered St. Paul de Marseille Asylum in Saint Remy de Provence voluntarily. In a small room, under watch, he painted nearly 150 works, irises, wheat field with cypresses. In June 1889, he created the Starry Night, capturing the night sky from his window, swirling stars like a dream. The canvas fused reality and vision, an immortal masterpiece. With Theo's funds, Vincent painted despite seizures. He copied Rembrandt and Millet, seeking solace in religious art. He wrote to Theo, sharing creative joy and mental torment, grateful for his brother's unwavering aid. Periodic crises kept him confined to the asylum. In May 1890, Vincent moved to Auvers-sur-Oise, near Paris, under Dr. Paul Gachet's care, an amateur painter and collector. Gachet urged him to paint, becoming an artistic friend. Vincent rented a room at Revou's Inn, producing over 80 works in 70 days, Wheatfield with Crows, The Church at Auvers, Portrait of Dr. Gachet. Colors dazzled, yet shadowed with gloom. He wrote of loneliness, though hopeful for the future. Portrait of Dr. Gachet revealed shared melancholy, its blues and swirling strokes raw with feeling. On July 27, 1890, Vincent went to a wheat field and, by the main account, shot himself in the chest. Some suggest an accident or another's hand, but this lacks wide confirmation. He staggered back to the inn, lingered 2 days, smoking his pipe, telling Theo, the sadness will last forever. He died on July 29, at 37. His letters to Theo, over 600 preserved, capture his artistic vision, philosophy, and inner turmoil, a literary work in their own right. Auvers was a tragic yet radiant finale. Vincent left final strokes, like cries of the soul, echoing through time. Beneath its azure skies, he ended his journey, opening an undying legacy. Chapter 7, Immortal Legacy. Vincent received no medals or awards in life. He sold only The Red Vineyard, 1888, for 400 francs to Anna Bach in 1890, though he may have bartered other works, unrecorded. Yet his legacy is priceless, about 2,100 creations, 860 oil paintings, over 1,300 drawings, sketches, mostly made in his final decade, 1880 to 1890, especially in Arles, Saint Remy, and Auvers. After his death, Johanna van Gogh Bonger, Theo's widow, brought his art to the world. She held exhibitions and published his letters in 1914, revealing his soul and mind. Those letters, over 600, form a literary masterpiece, unveiling the passion, sensitivity, and struggles of a misunderstood genius. Vincent pioneered Post-Impressionism, profoundly shaping Expressionism, inspiring Matisse, Kirchner, Picasso. He wielded color and brushstrokes to voice the soul, paving paths for modern art. The Starry Night, Sunflowers, Wheatfield with Crows are cultural icons, reminders of creation's power against adversity. His paintings soared in value posthumously. Portrait of Dr. Gachet fetched $82.5 million in 1990. Yet his true worth is his message: art is life, despite a brief, anguished existence. From Zunder to Auvers, Vincent lived and died for art, leaving a legacy like swirling stars, forever bright in humanity's sky.